What's going on, people? Welcome to the Fan Forum show that's on a Sunday evening, which is technically the Sunday show. And yeah, after a poor game, KG hit the button.
Let's go!
Yes, big up to the Fan Forum crew. What are you lot saying? Boring game against Leeds. We're going to talk about that very, very quickly, but there's loads to talk about. Extended show for you lot today. The boys are back in town. Apparently, the transfer rumour mill, if you're listening to Fabrizio and all these kind of people, KG was out the door, Kev was out the door, everyone's leaving. What's going on?
I don't know what's going on. Everyone thinks I've left, but I think it's because it's my last show. Yeah, I didn't go out.
That's why they think you left.
My last show, we just gotta get to the awkward bit in it. My last show didn't end the way I wanted it to. I was under the influence, bruv. So
I wouldn't call it influence.
Well, KG wanted more money for every time he dropped a bomb. So they've worked it in now and he's happy.
Exactly.
And I've agreed new personal terms. I'm totally happy now. So
yeah. So their agents have spoken. They've committed their futures to the club. So all that is good. And obviously we got Jack, and obviously we got Alex and Mr. J as well. We're going to bring that up. I don't even think you needed your notepad today, did you, Jay?
I'm going to be very succinct and short in my analysis. Solskjaer today, he expected lightning to strike twice. He picked the same 11 as before Christmas, barring Martial. But when you play two busts of sofas in that midfield pivot, you know who you're going to get. Sweet fuck all. I've said about Dan James 1,000 times. With Dan James, I've said it about him. I know Ricky loves him, but you don't buy apples expecting to make orange juice. And Dan James out on that right, he's not going to give you orange juice. Let's be fair. Again, in-game management. I know after the last game, we all lauded Ole for his in-game management, but today, his in-game management today, guys, is null and void. Pogba came on far too late. Cavani getting 5 minutes. What's that about? Yeah, disappointing. And I was all week thinking to myself, right, how the hell am I going to watch this game today and actually watch football and really be cold-hearted in my analysis? And I decided for the game kicked off that I was going to give every player today a free pass.
Yeah.
No matter how crap any individual player was, today they were getting a free pass because I didn't believe any of those players today could go into this game today and play with a clear head. And I think that was very prevalent around the pitch. Bruno, for me today, had probably his worst games for the club. Marcus, let's be fair, apart from that free kick, he was MIA. Greenwood as well. Yeah, MIA as well. So, look, today they're getting a free pass only because of what happened all week. But it's the one only free pass these players get from me.
Yeah, it was a tough watch. Super chat here from Joe. Joe says, "Great meeting you yesterday. Flex Glazers out. Nice one, Joe. Good, big up to yourself, bro. Great day out as well. We'll be talking about that very, very shortly and about next week. And there's so much to talk about, but we are going to just get the game feelings out. Alex, one of them games where, like Jay said, you could see what Ollie was preparing for. I stand saying there, Kev re-signed on a free. Oh my God.
re-signed on a free.
He negotiated a 1-year extension.
Bosman.
Oh my God. I've lost my train of thought now. That's Drotty's fault. On a free, the disrespect on a free. Alex, yeah, it was kind of one of them games, isn't it? Where a lot's gone on during the week, so even as fans, we're a little bit like, you know what? Whatever the team is. We just need to give the boys our attention now. It's time to do that because it was an emotional day yesterday, emotional week. But you look at the first game against Leeds, and you're kind of building up for how Leeds play. You know what they do, how they play. And there was just no quality in the game at all.
Yeah, for sure. I think that they obviously defended in quite a lot more numbers this time round than they did the first time round, which didn't really play to our strengths. I think with Dan James starting, I was actually in favour of them starting because I thought we would be able to hit them on the break because of how we thought that their play style would be. But then you saw today how limited of a player he is when he hasn't got the space to run in behind. With regards to the selection, I think it's a simple answer really, and same with the late subs. It boils down to we have two games that are more important than this one coming up in the next week, and you can't be playing Cavani in all three of those games. You can't really be playing Pogba.
5 minutes he got. He got
I know,
5 minutes. 5. Donny van der Beek got 2.
Exactly. What's
But
the point?
he's used to his 2-minute cameo, so that
That's
really wasn't
true.
that much of a shock. But I saw someone tweet, and it's so true. Like, for someone that was a super sub, he sure really doesn't know when to use his subs properly. But yeah, like I said, I think it simply boils down to we've essentially got, like, I did kind of delude myself again, thinking that perhaps we were in the title run during that Villa game.
Did you really do that?
When Villa scored, I did, but after City won. But second is essentially assured now, so we're not really playing for anything. Like, I expect Ahmad and Shortcomings maybe to get some minutes in the next, obviously not the Liverpool game, but across the next few Premier League games, because it should, touch wood, be done and dusted now. But Thursday for me is the very big one, and then obviously with Liverpool, it's like bragging rights anyway. So we do always play our full strength team in it. But Thursday is the 100% main one.
Liverpool in a bad shape right now. You know, they've got nothing to play for. Well, they're trying to get.
Well, they still
League,
do have more.
Yeah, they're trying to get. To be fair, Jack, again, what were you saying? What were you saying about today's game after the week we've had as well?
Well, yeah, just firstly, before I kick off, I just want to big up Flex for the coverage yesterday of the protest down at Old Trafford. Just drop a bomb for that. I would have loved to have been there, but as I say, uni commitments have meant I can't be there at the moment. But yeah, big up for that. It
Appreciate it, man. It was good. Great day.
Next weekend looks set as well, but we'll talk about that after.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of today's game, to be quite honest, I think it just shows how much we need a CDM. Because McTominay and Fred's passing range, and just when I see them two start, I'm just bored at like this McFred thing. I just think needs to kind of be shelved. And another thing, we could have one thing I've really realised as well, even though I do like Luke Shaw on set pieces over Bruno, we get set pieces, we get corners. If we're crossing the ball in, like we've got Harry Maguire, we've got aerial presence in there. Harry Maguire cannot, in the attacking phase, in terms of going for goal, there's no point in even us having corners, because we just play the same corner in. Do you guys agree? Because it is 100%. Like monotonous and the same, and you're thinking, you're sitting there, you think, oh, we've got a corner, come on, lads. And I'm thinking, that game today was crying out for a packed Ellen Road, United away end, 2,000 United fans, everyone getting, because the players needed that lift. It was very, as Alex said, second place is near enough secured. Now, the Premier League, I really do hope we rotate. But yeah, you've got to look at the bigger picture. Everyone's overreacting. I know Kev said before we went on air about stuff trending on Twitter about OleOut after this performance today. It's just utter nonsense. As Jay says, nonsense. I can't do that. Nonsense.
That's Roy Keane's word.
But literally, mate, it shows how much we need a CDM. But again, Luke Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, really good performances again. I thought Shaw, he just does everything right, really, and Henderson clean sheet. Obviously, I'll bring that up, But yeah, play of the season. I know you and Fritz have that agenda. But as I say, we move on to the next one. But Roma and Liverpool are the games where
big ones, isn't it? They're the big ones.
I'd say Roma,
though.
Roma more so. I think Roma the two games, and then obviously Liverpool next weekend. But yeah, we move on and just kind of forget about this. I think quicker than we need to.
Kev, was it just an off day?
Do you know what? As much as I hate Leeds United, I would have to give them a little bit of credit, right? I think Jay tweeted out the other week that it's a bit of a guilty pleasure watching Leeds. Now, I wasn't impressed with them, but one thing is Bielsa, compared to, like, say, Solskjaer, tactically, I think he got it absolutely spot on today. Bruno Fernandes, for me, was pretty much non-existent. They man-marked him, and we had a couple of chances, the Rashford free kick and that, but nothing much. But again, you sort of go back to Solskjaer's team selection, and, Dan James is starting, and you're like, right, I get it, bit of pace up front and stuff. But again, I know he's looking ahead to Roma and Liverpool, and he's probably, we've all conceded the league anyway, as far as it goes. So he's probably looking at that. But, if Cavani's fit enough to be on the bench, he's fit enough to play. Van der Beek, again, it's just a total, if you're Donny Van der Beek, man, and you're getting brought on for the last couple of the games,
2 minutes
of a game against Leeds at Ellen Road, you must be like, I mean, what has he done? He must have insulted Solskjaer in some way to not You know, he could have.
It's crazy, yeah.
He could have eased. I know hindsight's a beautiful thing. He could have started that game today. You know, and no United fan would have batted an eyelid at it. You know, he deserves his chance. Throw him in. We've said it all season. And we're very fast getting to the end of the season where you're going to look back on it and go, why did we actually sign Donny van de Beek? What was the point of signing this guy? Again, we can only look at this really after the next 2 games as to whether this was a good decision team selection-wise today. But again, I'm one for, if it's not broke, don't fix it. We go with it. You know, if we get the 3 points, it's all about momentum. Positive-wise, we're still on this unbeaten run away from home. But apart from that, I mean, I can't help but think that I've wasted 4 minutes of my life today watching that, because it wasn't great as a spectacle. But
yeah, well, it wasn't even. Jamie Carragher was laughing in commentary at one point. It was that bad because it was bad. Super chat here from Simply Better. It says, "Why is OleOut nonsense? If this was Jose, yeah, you would be all screaming at Jose. At least Jose won something. This is United, not Cardiff. Had standard, please, lads. Big ups to Simply Better. The reason why we're saying it's nonsense is not because if that's your opinion, then okay, fine, you're entitled to have it. But with the week we've just had, we've had Glazers out trending yesterday for right reasons, and we know what we're trying to do with the owners. The team's drawn a game when we've got second pretty much wrapped up, and we've got a semi-final. So where you said about at least Jose won something, maybe Ollie is about to win something too. So the way that the season's kind of petering out, we've got a decent cushion in second. An off day happens. We're still unbeaten away from home. We've got all the stuff going on with the owners, but it's OleOut trending. That's why we're saying it. So
I don't think any of the top 6 have won at Leeds. They haven't.
Exactly. On top of that, too.
On reflection of that, I know. Yeah,
there you go. And I'm not saying we should celebrate because nobody else did, but you make a good point, Kev. That on top of it too, like, you know, yes, it was disappointing. Yes, it was flat. Yes, we had a week off and you expected better. And we've spoke about some of those criticisms. So it's not like we're sitting there with blinkers on, acting like that was a great game and why are people moaning about that performance? But the fact that OleOut's trending, not even 24 hours after a protest where we're trying to get the Glazers out of the football club and we're second in the league with, I'm not going to call that a nothing game because it was a derby and every game you need to get the points. I get it. But we've got a big game on Thursday. I just think that's a bit of an overreaction personally.
The only thing that should be trending is Glazers out. Forget OleOut. I don't understand how you can go from yesterday, you know, a really good peaceful protest. People turned up, you know, in the droves. They protested or whatever, nice and peaceful against the Glazers. And the day after we draw at Leeds United, it's OleOut. For me, that's flip-flopping, because regardless of what you think of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it is the Glazers and this current regime that actually brought Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and all, you know, the whole setup at the minute. That's the way it is. So why would you want Solskjaer out? It's like, well, you get rid of Solskjaer. Are you honestly telling me that you trust the Glazers and the current regime to bring in another manager, somebody else to replace Solskjaer that's up to the job? It's not going to happen, man.
Yeah, KJ, I'm going to come to you in 2 secs. Fignesh says, my excitement goes down by 80% when I see McFred in the lineup. Waiting all week and then seeing such mediocrity again and again is just pissing me off. I hear what you're saying there. Exactly. Ronan says, if we win the Europa League, can all you guys grow a beard and moustache like KG, Flex and Kevin? Ask them. Are you guys going to do it?
No, never. It's not happening.
I wish I could.
Jay Ling says, at this point, I'm fed up with Ollie. What does Donny have to do to get a game? Not good for my health. Ollie out and Glazers out. It's not the draw, Flex. It's the performance. I'm from the free seats. We've just sat here and said how bad the performance was. I'm not saying that. And someone else said, I think it's important to touch on this. Eugene P says, yeah, Flex, but this week doesn't give Ollie a free pass. Listen, I'm not saying because what's gone on with the Super Six, what's gone on with the Glazers, if Ollie and the team put in a bad performance, we should celebrate the bad performance. That is why Jay said in his breakdown, didn't agree with Ollie's substitutions. What's he doing? I didn't understand that. Dan James could have done better at exactly XYZ. I think someone else said that Bruno was pretty. Kev said Bruno was anonymous. He got marked out the game. Give a bit of credit to Lee. Like, we're dissecting the game. I'm just saying, after the week we've had and the position we are still in, I just find it a little bit nuts that we're jumping from Glazers out to right back to forget the unity and all that for a little bit, straight back to OleOut. I just think that's a bit nuts. Me personally, and the guys here agree with it too. So, you know, it is what it is.
If you don't mind, on that, before you go to KG, last night I put out a tweet and I said, in essence, I'm paraphrasing myself, that for 2 days last week, I was ashamed to be a fan of that club. And what I saw yesterday from the protests, it gave me a new sense of hope for the future. And I said on that tweet, united we stand, divided we fall. And here we are, 24 hours later, after a protest that was seen all around the world. Make no mistake, that protest was shown on all the big American networks. American fans saw it, Australian fans, all around the world. And today, for me, you have these snowflakes. I'm going to call them snowflakes because you are snowflakes, okay? After 24 hours, OleOut. Come on. People need to look at the big picture here and basically show some basic intelligence and develop a moral compass. The bigger picture here is the future of the club, not the current manager. And I've been critical of Solskjaer all season. And I will always, loads, and critical of players. But I said, I get the players they get a free pass because of what happened now, because I don't believe their heads could have been correct. But for anybody to be jumping on OleOut one day after what we saw yesterday, it shows how, ironically, disunited this fan base is. And we're not going to win this war against the Glazers if we are disunited. And I hope next Sunday, we see the same level of unity. But if we go along and lose this to Liverpool next Sunday, wait and see. You'll have all the snowflakes again. OleOut. People need to cop the fuck on.
Don't hold back, Jay.
Jay, next time you speak, let us know what you actually think, though. Don't, you know what I mean?
Don't sit on the fence, lad.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but honestly, before we come to KG, it's true. It is true. And look, nobody's saying that all of a sudden. What I don't want is, oh, look at these guys. They're trying to like jump on anyone who thinks that Ollie's not the right man. All of a sudden, we're just going to forget the past 2 years. Not saying that. If you thought you was OleOut this time last week, 100%. You still reserve the right to think you're OleOut this week. But
I think the super chat explains it perfectly.
100%.
He says OleOuters have their priorities wrong. Get Glazers out first. More competent owners will get an elite manager they want. Get the owners out first. That's the perfect. It doesn't get better than that as a comment, because whoever comes in is going to care about the club and they're going to set a standard that we can't fall beneath. You know, so and they're just going to give Ollie right now. In the position that he's in, he's sitting second, comfortably second right now, and he's getting into a semi-final of the Europa League. I don't know if you can sack a manager off the back of that. It'd feel crazy. Now, if you're talking about renegotiation, that's a different conversation altogether. But then, just on what's on the table, what he's doing currently, he can't get sacked off that. So, and it waters down. Because it shows the fickleness. It waters down the protest. If they're like, these will just say out at any moment. You know what I mean? Like, we need to know that they mean it. We need to know that this Glazer thing doesn't stop with, this Glazer protest needs to carry on. The best thing that could have happened about the ESL, is almost working out to be a blessing in disguise, because it had to take that to really say to the United fans, enough's enough. Let's really come together, let's do something. And I think we can't lose focus of.
Yeah, but you say that, but you can already see a divide in the fan base now with the OleOut stuff coming back out. It's this is what they'd want. This is what they.
No, I think it's what it's what you talk about trolls, innit? You have to do that thing where you just pay no attention to them, because there's more people that want the Glazers out there than that want OleOut. And you just give the OleOut people a voice, innit? People have been screaming OleOut all season. And don't get twisted, I've had moments when I felt like that, 100%. Do you see what I'm saying? But then I've never been in a position where I thought Woodward and Glazers will let go of this club. Now it's the most realist thing that could ever happen. And we just have to push them over the edge a bit. Just a little, a nudge from us lot. And it needs literally every single one of us going in the same direction. And what I liked about the protest yesterday is it felt united. You know, I was watching Flex talking and stuff, and I was thinking, you know what? There's probably a bag of fan channels here. There's a bag of people, different people with different agendas and this, that, and the other. But we've all said, listen, these guys upstairs are pricks. You know what I mean? And we're here now. But just to give my little shout on the game, one of my favorite moments, like really made me laugh, was when Bruno Fernandes was just laying into Dan James. I thought that funny as hell. Bruno wouldn't let it go. He was like, "What's wrong with you?"
But the first time was a bit nuts though, because the first one Bruno kind of runs across him when he just needs to run away.
No, but Bruno.
But the second one where he should have shot
the Greenwood pass.
Yeah. No, the green when they
that
ran
was ridiculous.
When they ran onto it and they both wanted to let it. I mean, I think Dan James was trying to let it go for Bruno, but even in Bruno's head, he's like, "You're not even meant to be in this position. Let me run into it." Yeah. And the fact that now you're here and you shouldn't be. Yeah. And then he tried a little back heel. Bruv, get out. See, even when the ball went out, he was still cussing him.
Hey, Flex, I bet on Ricky's fan cam, he blamed Fernandes.
Do you know what?
Or Greenwood.
Do you know what? No, he didn't actually, to be fair. He did say, when I cleared it up, I was like, as long as you're saying all of the front three weren't great today, I don't really have a problem.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That was you're right.
All right, Jay.
Jay, you good?
I think he's
his Wi-Fi's playing up again.
No, but that was a nice moment. A upsetting moment. A moment that just disgusted me was Harry Maguire's free header. I was like, what? That upset me. But then, can we talk about one of my nephews, one of my family members, Aaron Becker?
Yeah, good game.
He played well, really well.
I'm telling you right now, the guy he's developing. I think he watches the United stand. He's seen the naysayers. He's seen what Flex has had to say about his skill, his control, such, and he said, "You know what? Enough's enough. I got to sit him down." And each and every time, it's developing. It's getting better and better. Unfortunate for him, Kyle Walker. Like, there's bare man to play that position. Southgate was there today. I don't know what Southgate was taking notes about, because he's not gonna. The only player that he's probably gonna bring into that squad, Rashford and Maguire.
Sure.
Oh yeah, sure.
And Calvin Phillips as well.
Yeah, but you reckon so?
Yeah, he starts like every single game. He shouldn't, but he does.
Yeah, Declan Rice will be back though, but he will be in the squad.
But he plays Rice and thingy. But
Henderson, yeah. But you're right. You'll probably get a seat on the train. On a plane.
Yeah, probably.
Might be a train is only going to London, isn't it?
I was about to say.
On Donny again. Donny just. I don't know if Ollie's trying to set Donny up for that Europa League version of what he did. Comes off the bench and scores, and Donny's won it in the end. He's done it. I don't know if he's trying to give him that moment. I don't know how. Even after his birthday, you would have thought, "Come on, Ollie, man, give him more than 2 minutes." Like this is getting ridiculous now. It feels like bullying. But again, he calls himself one of the greatest man managers, and obviously this is part of the man management. Ahmad is the deeper story. The fact that we haven't seen Ahmad ever again, is insane. Like he didn't know he was leaving at Atalanta for this. He should have stayed there. We should have left him there developing.
In the under-23s last
He wasn't
week.
getting in there starting 11 though.
No, but the manager said that he didn't want to sell it. He didn't want to bring him over. So the manager obviously had some plans for him. I
said that at the time, and everyone was like, "No, just get him here. He's ours." I'm like, if we're gonna play him, cool. But I don't know. People more sided with the whole just get him used to the climate here, get him used to being here, and then kick him on next season. It's one of them, isn't it?
But again, listen, a draw against Leeds. It was a boring game. I kind of enjoyed it. I kind of just enjoyed being on Twitter today. Actually, it was quite funny. Like just messing around with the people that say I shouldn't be on the channel. I think it's
Is that what you was doing? Why would you do that?
I don't know, because it just makes me laugh. Obviously, I've been in this self-development thing, so I kind of don't care anymore about things. So people are like, you know nothing about football. And I'm like, I know.
Do you know what was mental about just to go back to the Van de Beek thing? Like with Pogba and Cavani getting like 5-10 minutes, we know it's because he's like saving them to keep them fresh for Thursday or against Liverpool. With Van de Beek, he's only going to maybe get like 1 or 2 minutes in like both those games as well.
I'm gutted for him. He got his hair cut for the occasion as well.
The fresh
Man
trim.
sitting on with fresh trim. Yeah, I know.
I saw somewhere, I can't remember if it was a journal or something tweeted it, but apparently like he knew that this was going to be the situation for the first season coming to the club, which I find hard to believe, because it's like if you were linked with really strongly linked with Real Madrid, why would you come to United if you knew that you weren't going to like barely play for the whole first season?
Yeah, I think that's a bit. I worry about how much he was actually informed of stuff before he came. I mean, I do believe that he's saying like, I still want to stay here and prove myself. So my hair's thinning. Any advice for me, KG? Should I invest in hats?
You gotta do. You can just do the job. You can go totally bald, but have you got like a nice head shape? Because I've got a nice head shape. I just wear hats because I just think
you like wearing them. Yeah.
Yeah. But you just got to accept it, bro. Baldness can be sexy. It just depends, man. Yes, sir. All the best, fam.
The way you just gave him a nice bit of all the best. And Mark Wright says, OleOut is making Joel as... We're going to move on from that.
You did the KG reading before.
I did.
Hey, Alex, don't call it the KG, bro.
It is the KG.
The KG.
There's a lot of KG-isms that are going about. One thing people kept asking me yesterday, which anyway, we'll get to that. All right, so to finish off on the game, guys, because there's so much to talk about. I think we all agree that it wasn't a very good performance. We didn't agree with what's in that, KG. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
that's fun. Okay. We all agree that the substitutions. There's one thing about trying to save players for the Europa League, but to give Donny 2 minutes, I couldn't believe it. I thought, nah, you're not doing that. Are you doing that? Are you really doing that?
It's kind of insulting, like rather than just not bring him on at all.
Exactly. That was a bit peak. And even Pogba, you could see at halftime the type of game that it was. I actually didn't have any problem with the starting lineup. I know you can say there's Dan James limitation, stuff like that, but that team was a high energy team. I could see why he picked it. It worked in the first game against them. I'm not saying that's why I thought we'd win 6-0, but you could see why he picked what he picked. But by halftime, you could see that Leeds were off it. They weren't playing their normal tempo. And actually, the one-on-one marking all over the pitch meant that it's about individual battles. If you're going to make it about individual battles and having to beat a player, give Paul Pogba the ball. Give Paul Pogba the ball. Let him rise up. So yeah, let's see where we go with that. Let's move on. Gabriel says, Flex, remember KG's liver built like Maguire. Says Gabriel Noel. Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's been a mad week. A mad week. We got a big week coming up. We got a semi-final, and obviously another protest before the Liverpool game and the Liverpool game itself. Jack, what are you saying in terms of how you've seen everything the last week? The fan base, I know you've touched on it a little bit. Forget the OleOut bit for a minute. I mean, in general, how powerful do you think it's been, and how more do you think? How much more do you think we've got to go?
Well, I just want to quit. Yeah, I just think the power of the fans has been not just Manchester United fans, but I think domestically, I think that the big six clubs have all come together. And I think it's just shown the power of the fans. Because as I said to Jay, on Monday morning when I woke up, it was like, oh, we've got Leeds on Sunday. I'm not really sure how to feel about this type thing. And obviously we didn't know if we were getting kicked out of the Europa League or whatever. There was so much up in the air. But I just think, obviously we've got the Glazers out stuff with us at Manchester United. But I think just all the clubs, have done their own versions of protests. And I think it really has shown that fans do really make football what it is. I just want to quickly touch on the cup final. I don't know if you watched it. The fans being it made the game so much more watchable because you could just hear the noises, and it wasn't like it was natural crowd noise. And in terms of the week, it's been mental, really. Like, as I say, the Glazer out protests, obviously yesterday, as Kev said, peaceful. I think it just showed that when the fans come together, we've all got a common goal. We all want to get these owners out of our football club. And it is, obviously we've got one next week as well. But I agree. I think it has to happen now. I think if there's any time to do it, it's the present. And, the Glazers have been sitting back since 2005 when they bought us. And they've kind of just, I don't know how much they would have been affected by this. I saw the share prices kind of drop after the protest yesterday. But I just think the power of the fans, I just think it's got to continue now. I think a lot of us need to put our differences about the manager aside and really just unite on this one common goal that we've all got. And that is to get Joel Glazer and the Glazer family just out of Manchester United, full stop.
Yeah, I agree. Kev, what are you saying? I mean, how have you seen it? I know you said you're going to be going up on Sunday. But with what you saw yesterday and just the generic feeling about it all, how you feeling?
I can't see it as anything other than positive. And like Jack said, fair play to yourself for getting there yesterday, because for one thing, you're certainly not going to be able to log on to MUTV or whatever and, and be able to see the protests because of the whole cover-up and even Sky Sports and that to an extent. Yes, there's bits and pieces in the media today about it that the fans protested, but for the United stand to do what they did yesterday, and because we have a global fan base, there's so many fans around the world that obviously couldn't make it. The likes of America, India, wherever you are in the world, that were able to log in and almost feel like they were part of that protest yesterday. Now, there was a couple of things that I thought were very distasteful, even though I said it was peaceful. Climbing on the United Trinity statue, I don't, whether I'm just a bit older than everybody else, I looked at that as a bit distasteful, but I understand that people want to, climb up to a higher thing, shout, sing songs, fair enough. And the other thing was the burning of the American flag,
exactly
which, listen, right, we're against the Glazers, and yes, they are American, but you don't burn the flag. Do you know what I mean? That symbolizes a lot to obviously the people that live in America. So for the United fans to do that, listen, you get knobheads everywhere, don't you? And you get the minority that sort of let the team down kind of thing. I didn't agree at all with that. I thought it was distasteful. But as a protest, listen, this has been going on since the day the Glazers took over, and it will continue until the day they leave. All you can do is try your hardest to get them out of this club. And the only way you're going to hit them is financially. The minute sponsors and that start turning away from the Glazers, let's just say the likes of Adidas and that look and go, there's no point us renewing this contract because it's just bad for business. If we can get this bad name against Manchester United, and it sounds horrible, that's the only way that they're going to leave. And fair play to everybody on social media and that, the way that it is going. Manchester United fans are uniting. They're getting united. They're getting behind this movement. The only way you're going to get rid of them is to hit them in the pocket. And it will all be to do financial deals. And if we can hit them that way, we might have a little bit of hope. But, you read the stories and it seems the Glazers are here for the long haul. They should have never been able to buy this club in the first place. They've saddled us with debt. They didn't have the money to buy it. If you look in comparison to Manchester City, their owners have pumped in, what, about $1 billion? We paid that, or as Manchester United fans, we've serviced the debt. £1 billion has come out of this club, and it's heartbreaking. No investment. You get some United fans that say, oh, United have invested in the squad and that. They've not. If you do your maths and look at it, last season, Donny van der Beek and that net spend, what was it, about 30 million? For Manchester United, not good enough. Prior to this, we were signing top-class upcoming players, the likes of Ruud van Nistelrooy and that, Wayne Rooney, players like this. It has dropped off big time, and it is heartbreaking as a United fan.
Ed Woodward says, hey, do you guys need an extra host next year? Please, I'm begging you. Joel Glazer is not returning my calls. And there's another super chat here from Belly Vigil says, KG, where was you yesterday? Jokes aside, back to football. Rashford was terrible today. KG Rashford. Let's just quickly talk about that before we jump back to that. Are you concerned? Ollie said before the game, hasn't trained all week, has soreness when he puts his foot in the boot and his toes and stuff like that. But he trained yesterday and didn't have a reaction. I did say before the game, so I'm not going to be hypocrite. I was like, it concerns me, but it's like they've clearly agreed that that's the way they're going to manage this. But within that, what I am starting to learn is that you're getting performances like we saw yesterday. Then you're getting moments maybe like against Burnley in the second half where he made it happen. Then Burnley first half where he's just not consistently at it. You can tell he's just withdrawn.
Yeah, something's definitely up with Rashford. I thought he was good in little spells of the game. There was a moment when the ball comes to him, he has acres of space, and he passes it, but he passes it to a Leeds player, and I'm like, Rash, like, why did you do that? Like, there's just little times when you like, it's always going to be the player that will frustrate, but then can pull something off. It's almost getting to a stage where you have to say, listen, I think this is that's Rashford. This is what you're going to get. Him and Luke Shaw's link-up play at times was scintillating. And then other times you're like, oh. And now what I've just tried to do with Rashford is just wait for the 90 minutes and see what happens.
Yeah, because it is a bit nice.
Because if you just say, you know what, Rashford's that kind of player that's going to be, you don't know what you're going to get, but he at some point he should deliver in this game. Then it changes the way you might watch his game because you just say, it'll come at some point. Today, it didn't come at all, but then today, there were so many things that wasn't working. And as you lot keep on saying, the midfield, the two DMs, McFred, it just, they cannot play a forward pass to save their lives. When I'm talking a through ball, they just can't see. I saw McTominay was open. People were bombing into the box.
Yeah.
Plays it straight to Fred. Fred on the ball. Fred looks worse on the ball than Wan-Bissaka. I don't know what's going on with Fred. When Fred's on the ball, I'm like,
hold on. I'm gonna step in here and I'll bring Jay in as well. Yeah. Yeah. I thought Fred was all right today.
Yeah, same.
No, but I'm talking about just every time Fred's on the ball, don't you ever feeling like he's gonna lose it? Because
but I think that with McTominay too.
Yeah.
This is it though, but these men are the DMs, these men are the engine room to keep the ball ticking, fam. These guys can't be that. Like, you go back to the good old days with Carrick, who could really run that. Like, I don't think we truly appreciate Carrick when he was there. I always did, but I don't know if it was across the board that we said, no, that guy was a classy midfielder, We didn't know what we had something special. I just look at Fred and McTominay, and I think we would get a lot more chances if we have players in there that can do more than that. And then it's easy, because just imagine if you got those two on the ball, you can man mark Bruno, and nothing's going to be created. You can say, hey, let's look after these. Let's look after this man. This is their one magician. Those two ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
When you now put in another maestro in there, it now makes things harder because who do you pick up? Look at the balls they can play, and then you can really exploit the how do we play two of those players and start Dan James? What is he running onto? This is the issue. So anyway, let's sorry, I don't even know if that was what I was meant to be talking about. But
well, KG, the thing is, and that is a great point. We're essentially using two players. But you could actually buy a player that does that job, and then you free. So let's just say, for instance, right, N'Golo Kante, which is one of the best players at doing that job. You throw him straight into Manchester United, and all of a sudden you insert, like, say, Paul Pogba. The dynamics of that team totally change. You've not got two players pissing around trying to protect Maguire and Lindelof. You've got one player that sits in front of them. I know my job. I can do it. And then you've got the likes of Fernandes, Pogba or whatever, played further forward. it's just having that security and that confidence in that player behind you. Like, let's do it.
You'll get that from an Ndidi as well. Do you know what I mean? I was watching Højbjerg today. I was like, how good is he? Because I know that they had a lot of people rating him. I think he gets found wanting. He isn't as good as they made him sound. You know, they made him sound like he's the second coming. I looked into that. You're all right.
You got to be careful when you look at players to come and do this job, you know, because it's a big job. I think even players at smaller clubs. I'm not saying that Bissouma's not a good player. I'm not saying Ndidi's not a good player. I'm not saying Declan Rice is not a good player. But when you have to come to Man United and you have to do that job in this squad,
look at Schneiderlin with that we thought we were getting.
Schneiderlin, and you know what? Schneiderlin was proper good at Southampton. He really was in that position. You know, he's spoken about like a Bissouma, a bit like an Ndidi. We should get him. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I remember when they got him, I was like, goodbye, 30 million, perfect.
But sometimes
it's midfield.
Sometimes it's to step up because Dan James was. I know it's different, but Dan James was so good at Swansea. But that's his level. I'm not. That's maybe
in the championship.
100%. They're in the championship. So that's
Jay. How do you feel about the Rashford situation and how Ollie's managing it? Are you worried that someone put earlier in the super chat? I'm worried that, you know, we're going to have to get the duct tape out and really start patching him up. I think it's here. Gabriel just quickly says, the way Ollie's managing Rashford, how long before he starts putting him together with duct tape and sending Rashford out to play? I'm worried.
First of all, I'm going to preface this with the fact that I'm a massive fan of Rashford.
Yeah.
Because out there first before anybody in the comments saying that I'm hating on Rashford, I'm not. Massive fan of Rashford. Last season, he came back far too early from his back injury. For me, he's been playing predominantly this season injured. He's not fit. I admire the fact that he's willing to play injured. A lot of players haven't got the balls to do that. Clearly, Marcus does. But Ole is the manager. He has to make a call. Marcus, if you're not producing up to half time, mate, I've got to take you off. That's all there is to it. To protect you and to keep you fresh for the bigger games ahead, which is this week, this Thursday night, and obviously next weekend. And I think when it comes to Solskjaer making the big calls, he's found wanting for me. Back to the Donny thing, obviously Donny should have come on for either McTominay or Fred. Regarding Carrick, for me, he was your thinking man CDM. He replaced Roy Keane, but he was a CDM different to Roy Keane. He could play a 40-yard pass with his eyes closed. No, he wasn't tenacious in a tackle, different than Roy Keane, and he ran the engine room of that team after Keane left. So I would question then, what the hell is happening on training ground? You've got McTominay, and Kevin, I know you're a massive McTominay fan, and that's fine. And Fred are being coached by Carrick, okay? But I would argue you can't polish a third.
Yeah.
If the level we are seeing right now from McTominay and Fred, that is the level, that's what they can do. Well, the coaches clearly have tried to better their game. Clearly, that's what they have. It can't be done. They're not good enough. And then if that goes back, then you're playing two CDMs because we're protecting our centre-backs. And I've said in the show many times, I'm blue in the face from saying it. So I got to say it again. For the people in the free seats don't get what I'm saying. Maguire's career at United, that is predicated on Solskjaer's career. Solskjaer ain't going to drop Maguire, be he good, bad, or indifferent. There was many times this season before Christmas, Maguire should have been dropped. Solskjaer didn't do it. Bailly was fit. McTominay was fit. We saw Axel Swansea last week, 2 weeks ago, playing beside Lindelof. The guy, for me, was man of the match. He didn't put a foot wrong. Obviously, Maguire's back for me from his suspension. He's going to play. But so we play those two inadequate CDMs to protect two inadequate centre-backs. So for me, in that team, there's 4 players in 4 key spots that are inadequate. Back to your point on Wan-Bissaka, and we said on a previous show, Wan-Bissaka doesn't know from one week to the next who the hell is playing with him on the right-hand side. It's Dan James one week, it's Mason another. So I rate Wan-Bissaka, and he's been slated by members of the fan base who I believe do not actually watch the game. They don't watch the game. They're on their phones looking at fucking Twitter. Watch what Wan-Bissaka does and watch what he offers. You put a proper right winger beside Wan-Bissaka, you see a different player.
Yeah, that's what I mean. When you look at Shaw and Rashford.
One thing, though, with Wan-Bissaka that I've noticed is that we all think of him as this amazing one-on-one defender, which he is. but sometimes his positional sense is really poor, I think. But that's obviously something
I
that
agree.
he can improve on.
Yeah, I agree.
Even this season, it has got better. And you talk about, remember that thing that you talk about with Schneiderlin, where a player comes and the shirt is too heavy, can't manage it. We haven't had that issue with Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Oh yeah, not at all.
Came in there, it's like he feels fine, it fits. You know, those are the differences. You look at Dan James and stuff, and even I don't know if the shirt's too heavy for him or if he was never meant to wear the shirt in the first place. But you look at different players across the pitch and you say, yeah, he's meant to be here. You know, but then on with what Jay was talking about, the centre backs, and this is what I'm talking about with the Ollie lies and stuff. Ollie gassed us and told us, hey, Mengi, I got some young players here. I don't even know what Mengi looks like anymore. You know,
he was at Derby with Rooney.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying that we were told at the beginning of the season, get excited. There's Twanzebe, Mengi, all these, and Twanzebe probably thought to himself, you know, Aston Villa, I'm gonna. We told him, listen, you're the centre back pairing. It's gonna be Twanzebe and Maguire. That's what we're playing on pre-season. That's what he played at the start of the season. All of a sudden, he was out, never got back in, even with injury. And that's the only one of the question marks you would have with Ollie is when you have injured players, there's other players available that you won't start. Like if you know Rashford's holding his injuries, play Ahmad. Give him a try. If you know
he won't do it, will not do it. I don't get that.
With Ahmad, though, do you not think, I've seen people saying it is kind of true that he's kind of protecting him because look how small he is. And you know, like you saw like when Ronaldo first came here and stuff, how much in the English game, that's why he plays in Europe because they're not as like physical. In the Premier League, they're going to absolutely kick him off the pitch. And you know the referees won't be protecting him.
That's ridiculous, though. You can't play a
no way.
That don't make any sense.
I'm just saying what I think he's thinking.
No, that makes no sense, Alex, because the game has changed dramatically since when Ronaldo made his debut. The game has changed. Players now protected. They get a slight little tap or shoulder from a full back. They go down and it's a free kick. So Ahmed would automatically get protection from the referee. So sorry, Alex, but I don't agree with that.
But it's still he's like you saw when Mason first played and then went through that body transformation. Ahmed, it literally is in like a kid's body still. Like if he goes against like a Burnley or something, they will like send him into the stands.
Basically, you say they need to get him primed and ready.
He still should be. Yeah,
why
we still don't know what happens before it happens.
My thing is, why is he here? Why did we spend? Remember, and this is what we talk about with the Glazers and stuff, and Woodward just being at the helm.
It's a lot of money.
What kind of decision is this? You shelled out what 35 mil? Is that what they're saying he cost? You spent that kind of money on a player that you said he's not ready, he's not going to be in your plan. What were we doing? What were we doing last season if that was the plan? You say, you know what, we'll sign this player in a little bit. He's probably not for now because it's not like we have loads of money to spend. We're doing a 60 million. We're spending 60 million like a season. So why would you shell it out on a player that's nowhere near being ready?
I think he's just doing it as like the process of like how he integrated Greenwood in. If you remember Greenwood in his first season, he was getting like 5 minutes at the end of games and stuff. And like in that PSG game, people forget that he actually played in that game. And then next season, I expect Ahmad, he will play more, but he still won't be a starter. He'll be like what Greenwood did, like playing in like maybe like if we get dead robbers in the Champions League or like FA Cups, like games like that he will start playing more and more in the Premier League. And then it's the season after that is when we'll start seeing like Greenwood now that he's starting games. And same with Shortcomings as well.
With what Alex is saying, you know what? If you do look at it from the other side of how Ollie would be thinking about it, and I'll put it to you guys at home as well in the comments. Let us know. Let us know if it's like what KG is saying, like what Jay's saying. Like, you know, it doesn't make sense. You bought the kid here early. You paid that much money for him. You give him a chance. Or, like what Alex is saying, maybe Ollie is thinking this is just a way to get him used to the culture, the climate, the squad, the physicality. Like he's still playing under 23 games. Scored a good free kick the other day. I feel like now I can look at it. Maybe he is doing that a little bit.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if your player is injured, like your Rashford, like Lindelof,
you bring him in.
That means bring in these players so these guys can recover. You know, you're gonna do like we said. Rooney had put too many miles on the clock. We probably didn't. We overused Rooney on his development, and we didn't. He waned really quickly. Now we could do that with Rashford if we don't protect him, and that's the raw. Flex has had enough.
People
I'm
like
still here.
Actually,
remember people were
I'm
saying
still
this
here.
about Phil Foden when he was like 18, like, oh, why don't we just loan him if we're not going to play him? And Pep like really gradually eased him in, and then now that he's got to 20 years old and he's starting all the time, and look how it's done. Sometimes you have to say like just throwing someone in.
Yeah, but
and I know I'm a
KG,
hypocrite
but
with that, 'cause I was
KG
saying
does.
last season about Greenwood should be starting every game, but
Yeah, but KG does make a point about the the kind of mentality of these signings, because we've got Palestri out on loan. What's he going to bring to the table when he comes back? He's had a season. He's out with Alaves, isn't it? I think like he's in La Liga. So you're bringing these players back, but you talk about the physicality, like playing against the Burnley and the physicality of the league. But Palestri's similar type of player. I don't really know what the thinking was, because if you bring Ahmad in, is he going to be a future Man United star? We don't know. But
based on like what people have said there, like watch at youth level, he is like next level,
He's
like
very
good.
good.
Yeah,
Like,
but
the way I watched Sky Sports when we first signed him, and it was like some Italian football expert, and they were like talking about him in like as in comparing him to the teenager, like Ronaldo, Messi type level. That's how good that's how high they rate him.
That's
like
mental.
at that level. So
it's
Palestri, from what
it's
I've
a massive
seen,
gamble, Alex.
nothing.
Right? If you'd have decided to play him today, it's a massive gamble. And I'll tell you another thing: COVID aside and all that, if there were fans in grounds, there is no chance he would be anywhere near that first team today against Leeds.
God, yeah.
I agree.
You think of
Leeds
it,
especially.
that literally could have finished the lads. If he'd have started that game today, the rivalry between Manchester United and Leeds is, I'd say Liverpool's bad, but from what I've seen in the 90s and that, between Manchester United and Leeds, the rivalry between them, I have never seen pure carnage, hatred, pure hatred. You think Liverpool's bad, Leeds is bad. Imagine throwing him in today against a packed Ellen Road. It's like throwing,
football's got to come further than how it's been in the past. We're talking about, when you lot talk like this, it makes me think of classic managers. We're playing a 4-4-2. Everyone's got to be 6'4". The game's changed. You got the slight players. We saw David Silva. We look at what Foden's doing. And yes, Foden was held back for a long time. Why? Because but we seen slight players do a madness. So now the reason why we haven't played Donny van der Beek, who can definitely play in that position, is because I feel a part of Ollie's mindset is, I need someone that's going to be like a battler in there, where you can have a clever player that can be just as effective. He should play him in the position. Just have a look at what that looks like. But I think there's a fear, and it's like, I'm just going to go with McTominay. I'm not going to, nothing's going to happen. McTominay's in there. He's solid. He can keep it going. No, Ollie, put in the technicians. That's the difference. And but
that's the same at centre back, because he'll always go Maguire and Lindelof when they're fit. He's not going to go. Axel's played well, as Jay said. Axel's put in man of the match displays pretty much every time he's played. Is he going to play? We all know Maguire and Lindelof will be the first. They'll be like the first names on the team sheet, because Ollie always goes with them two together.
True.
But Jack,
a couple super chats.
That's the irony. That's the irony. Sorry, but that's the irony, Jack. You're spot on. He plays Maguire Lindelof, and because he plays them, he has to play McFarlane in front of them every single time.
Yes, exactly.
Which negates the entire structure of the first 11.
And that's what we have to throw Pogba on the wing, because we've got to play the pivot with. Oh, sorry, KG's just disappeared. But
I'd rather my screen just go black than say like utility
cam. With the reason that he plays Maguire and Lindelof is because with Tuanzebe, with Bailly, they're just always injured, and he knows, like with Maguire especially, he plays like every single minute of every single game, so he knows he's 100% reliable, that he'll never be injured. And Lindelof has had that back issue, but aside from that, he still basically plays every game. Whereas with the others, obviously, I think Bailly's our best centre-back, but it's pointless having him as our best centre-back. If you say, Jay, play him till he breaks, but realistically, he plays like 4 games and then he does break.
But Alex, that's the irony. That's the irony, right? They're his first-choice centre-backs, and he doesn't trust them because he plays 2 CDMs to protect them, because he doesn't trust them, and they're his first choice. It makes no sense.
That is, but like we've said already, you can still protect them just with one player if you just had a really class number 6 who could do that. Job.
But we've seen when Swansea or Bailly has played beside either of Lindelof and Maguire, I don't care which of them starts, but not in both of them. He can play a Donny van der Beek beside McFred in a more advanced role, and the team automatically moves up 15 metres up the pitch. But he doesn't do it because he's too risk adverse.
Yeah, it's depressing. I just thought we might have seen his last ever appearance, mightn't we? Might not ever play for us again if he leaves. So that's so depressing.
That's true. There's some super chats here, guys. Okay, Flo says Ollie has his favourites, and that's costing him. It will be the same next season. He's always playing with fear, and that affects his selection. Gabriel Noah says Foden held back for David Silva, but we're holding back Ahmad and Donny for McTominay and Dan James. God, that hurts to think about. Wow. When you put it like that, it's a different take. Lolu says Jesus is making excuses for Ollie. Foden was different. Bruno now wouldn't break that City team, let alone Foden at the time. And Ed Woodward again says, it's okay, lads. I'm currently on the phone to Mrs. Ming's new world-class centre-back load-in 2021. And his history says, can we drop a bomb for how improved Wan-Bissaka's movement on the ball is this season? DJ for an outfield player. Best case, he's fouled. And it's gone now. It's gone. But there was a big up for Wan-Bissaka there as well. KG is there with sound effects, but this is currently what he looks like. So don't let him get away with it. Don't let him get away with it. I'd much rather be completely blacked out than look like that.
Flex movement.
Don't try it. First of all, he can't. First of all, he can't hack it, and comes out of all of these, quotes as to why. And then he's on EOS.
Throwing the toys out the pram.
I'll tell you what, he's just re-signed, and this is how he's come back. Look at him.
This is a poor performance. He'd be on the transfer list at this rate. Shocking performance.
Oh, KG is such a mad.
KG's in the mud. Proper in the mud.
Wait. This is crazy though. I know.
KG, stick it in. Come on, stick it in, mate. Come on.
Put it in the hole.
KG will be KG. He's like Spurs. You just always can depend on them to do madness. Guys, you know what? I don't know what I actually don't know what KG's doing, so we're just going to move on. I don't know what he's doing.
I'd say KG's agent is Raiola, and he's on the phone now. He's had a better offer from somewhere else. He's gone. That's what it is.
Yeah. We've got a big week coming up, though. Big week coming up for many, many reasons, though. Let's get into that. We've got the Champions League, the Europa League semi-final. I wish it was the Champions League semi-final. Kev. You saw today, Ollie went with Pogba on the bench, and then even when he did bring him on, he was the number 10 for a bit, then he went out to the wing. But he's kind of using him all over the place. What team needs to be on that pitch against Roma first leg away?
Probably the most sensible answer would be the strongest 11.
Which would be?
That's it. Anybody else want to talk? No. For me, David De Gea would be in net for a start. There wouldn't be Dean Henderson in that cap, although he probably won't need it because it'd be night time. The back four more or less picks itself. Pogba has to be in there. Dan James is nowhere near that starting 11. From what I've seen of him today, it's like a bit of a fish out water kind of thing. But and the main man, Cavani, I can only, like I say, we can only base this result today on the next two games when we look back and go, right, that's why he did it. Cavani has to be in there, the main man. The only number 9 or so-called number 9 that we have that's absolutely quality and class. Nobody else can play his position. I was reading.
Do you think that's why he got such little time today?
Yes, possibly. But at the same time, in management or game management, you can say, so why did he bring him on with whatever 5 minutes left? You know, what's the point? What is the point of risking him, you know, for the sake of going for 3 points if you've got one eye on Thursday night? But again, Cavani is our only number 9. I was reading this week that even Mason Greenwood said watching Cavani in training and learning from him is one of his best experiences at the minute at Manchester United. I said it the other week. It's the reason I want to keep him at Manchester United next year, if they can extend his deal, is because the likes of Rashford, Greenwood, if you're learning from Cavani, this guy's done it, man. He's got the movement. He scores goals. He scores all types of goals. And we have not got that. You take that out of Manchester United today, we've drawn 0-0. You know, there's no point bringing him on with 5 minutes left. Yes, he might snatch a goal, but, you know, reality is that he is the main man as a goal threat. His movement, holding up the ball, tracking back, everything. And I've said it before, he reminds me of what Manchester United had when Carlos Tevez was there. Had to do that when I mentioned Carlos Tevez. I loved him when he was at United, but
he was my favourite player when we had him.
Yeah, he was great.
What do you do with Paul Pogba then? Would you play him in the midfield pivot, or because if Rashford is not got a reaction, he's going to play on the right hand side? I can't see Pogba playing on the right hand side. We don't normally see that. Do you think you could see Mason Greenwood get dropped then, or would you play Pogba in the centre mid?
He seems to prefer him out on the left, doesn't he, Pogba? And do I agree with that? I prefer him more central because he's with Fernandes, who will play a bit further forward. Pogba is the only one that's going to pick a pass. And that was evident today at Ellen Road. Like, we've all touched on it. McTominay and Fred, I mean, come on, man. You know, they don't even look up, man. When they get the ball or whatever, they're looking forward. Do they complement each other as a two? They probably do. But as an attacking threat, and we've touched on Michael Carrick there, I think he's one of the most underrated Manchester United players. I've spoke to
players.
Proper player.
Easily.
Yeah.
The amount of rival fans I speak to, and he's a bit probably like Jordan Henderson for Liverpool, where if you don't watch him week in, week out, you're like, what's he all about? But Carrick for United, I've even spoke to United fans before that, that Michael Carrick was shit or whatever. And I'm like, are you being, what are you smoking, man? Are you being serious? And like Jay touched on earlier, yes, he took Roy Keane's number 16 number, was the so-called replacement. He was never a replacement for Keane. He was that good. He didn't even have to tackle. His interceptions and reading, read where the ball was. He didn't have to fly into challenges like Roy Keane did. He was more switched on than that. But God, if we could get Michael Carrick could probably get a game now for us.
Scholes was asked as well who his favourite midfield partner was, and he said Carrick, not Keane.
Yeah.
I would
There's
do
a lot that.
I'd keep Pogba out wide. Like, you see what we did with, and I know people don't enjoy it, but you give Rashford the left-hand side and you say to Pogba, you can do what Mata was doing. You see, we played Mata out on the right-hand side.
That's how Pogba plays on the left, even if he plays there.
He never stayed there. Mata was almost on some type of free roam. Yes, he had to go and do his defensive duties, but then he would be all over the pitch, linking play and stuff. Mata was not a real, we never really saw Matt. Look how slow he was. Mata's not a right wing. He's not passing the man and doing like overlapping and stuff, but he'll be in there, intricate passes. I like Pogba being free like that because that is your real maverick player. I think it's harder to pick up. You don't even know if you want to go with him. And if you do go with him, you leave crazy space in behind. It really just unlocks a team. And then it's, again, you got a player that's that creative. How do you deal with that? And you see what Pogba does. Sometimes he'll draw like 2 or 3 players over to him because he likes to stay on the ball for a bit. Then he gives it away. Again, that just opens us up. It even makes Bruno. It gets the best out of Bruno in that position because, as you say, we keep on saying it. The McFred does not work. I won't change that much. I think
we'll start against Roma though. For me,
do you know who would fit into this team perfectly now? Right. And I'll try and forget the fact that he signed for Man City again, right? a prime and fully fit Owen Hargreaves. He was a fantastic player when he was fit. I think he played about 10 minutes for United in whatever years, but he was honestly, I was so excited, excited when United signed him. Fergie had chased him for years, managed to sign him. Injuries held him back, but imagine him in that Manchester United team now. He's gone.
What's going on?
Was it something
Like I
said?
said, I'd rather be the black screen
He was-
than just, you know what I mean, be completely gone because mine was just be back.
He was
You know what I
such
mean?
a good player. I remember being
Oh.
as a kid though, that I used to get so angry with England when we would bring
Let's
him
just
on
not
before United signed
now.
him. And then we got to this one tournament. I don't know if it was like Euro 2004 or something, and he was like the best player by an absolute mile. And then I think we signed him after that
Oh, he
tournament
was
as well.
quality.
And he was so good for that 1 year.
That free kick, man.
Rival fans, Prathama says, rival fans said Scholes was the most overrated EPL player ever this
I
week.
saw that.
Flex knows, yeah, big up to man like Rory, the ultimate troll. He knows.
Overrated.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, he
crazy.
said it.
It's nonsense.
It is. Yeah, absolute nonsense. Exactly. Jack, moving on from the Roma game though into this Liverpool game now, there's going to be a big protest. And obviously the game against Liverpool is important because a game against Liverpool is always important. But if you talk about before the game and the fans that are going to turn up and stuff, how much are you looking forward to that, and how big a message do you think that's going to send as well? Because there's a lot of us going up there as well, and it's going to be even bigger than last week. It was yesterday.
Yeah, well, yeah. As I say, just first of all, like, big up yourselves for going up there. And obviously, you KG and Flex, you travel up from kind of near where I am, so it's quite a distance to get up there. But it's good that we're all coming to, as I say, share this common goal that we've got to get in the Glazers out. I think Sunday will be a lot more prominent because it's more organised protest by the kind of supporters trusts and all that. And I think there'll be a lot more fans. It'll be a lot more kind of driven. I think Saturday was great, but I think it will be even better next Sunday. I do worry though about kind of not even just the lead up to the game, but it's just the kind of social media storm because it's Liverpool. If Liverpool go and beat us 2-3-0, then we're kind of losing focus of what the protests are about. And we've said Liverpool, it's a massive rivalry. And don't get me wrong, if Old Trafford was packed to the rafters 75,000, it would be a huge game, regardless of the fact that, we've secured top four, whatever. But we could stop Liverpool getting top four. If we go and beat them on Sunday, the results, the drop points, it's massive for us. And we all want to see Liverpool playing Rostov and all these teams in the Europa League. I know we can't.
No, even better. Next season, the Europa Conference comes out, so put them in seventh. Put them in that one.
What is the Europa Conference? I know some of my Spurs mates are saying like it's this new great tournament, but I don't.
It's like a third tier. Like, so you have Champions League, Europa League, then Conference, and it's out next. It's for like. I think
is that actually a thing?
Yeah,
I've heard.
It normally goes to the cup winner because City won the cup. It goes to 7th place. So if Liverpool come 7th, they'll be in the conference. So even lower than Europa.
You don't want to be in that. That is bad.
But yeah, just one more word on the protest. Kev said earlier about, I just hope that it is respected and stuff, and I hope like the American flag burning, and because I was going to mention that in terms of yesterday's protest doesn't come up again. I'm gutted I can't be there. I really can't. After seeing the cup final today and seeing the fans in grounds, it just gets me so ready for next season now. It's been a terrible year for everyone with the pandemic and everything. But I think the fact the protests are happening now, we're coming out of the pandemic as well. And hopefully, I do agree with Kev's point about hitting them where it hurts in terms of their pockets. But just hopefully we can all get back into Old Trafford and all meet up, and it'll be class.
Yeah, that was one thing I did take from yesterday. It was so great to just be out and like
exactly.
And stuff, and everyone was so happy. Jay, a big week for us. 2 big games, but obviously a lot more going on off the field as well. How do you think this week's going to go with 2 results? How do you think they're going to go? And 2, in terms of just the fan base and how we need to keep united?
Okay, I'm not going to touch on the game because I think Kevin and KG covered it very, very well. So I'm going to totally disregard the Roma game. For me, the bigger picture is we now, for the first time in 16 years, the balance of power has shifted back to us, the fans, for the first time in 16 years. I think we can't lose sight of that. So I just want to say to everybody watching now, the only thing that the American owners understand is bottom line their balance sheet, net profit. So guys, you stop buying every piece of merch associated with United. Obviously the New Jersey, don't buy it. Also, I'm asking you, as a fan base, all the affiliates that are involved with the club, you know, the wines, the watches, the cars, every single affiliate, do not buy their crap. Don't like their post social media. Black out everything social media wise for United and their fan base and their affiliates. Don't like their stuff. Don't share it. That is what that is what they understand. The protest is fantastic, and I hope it's not the last protest. I really hope that, you know, once a month you keep going, because the balance of power is now back
just
with
quickly.
us for once. Yeah,
that's proper. No one's really spoke about that yet. You know, the kind of what after. So we're all having the lead up to these protests, which are great.
Yeah.
They've gathered momentum. You've seen it happen at other clubs. So you see it in Arsenal do the Kroenke situation. It's great. I don't know what they're going to be planning next. I don't know. Man City, I guess it's a bit different. They've got unrivaled success. I don't think they're going to be campaigning to get their owners out, because they're more just disappointed that their owners did it, and then they can kind of just, well, we'll just move on now. You know, just got the Carabao Cup. You guys actually do invest into our club, so please don't leave. Just don't make another mistake like that. That's more their thing. Liverpool fans, yes, they made their feelings heard. Don't get me wrong, but their club backtracked. Again, they've had its success recently. They see that they invest into the club in the right way, back the manager in the right way. Again, it was more of, don't do that again. Chelsea fans, pretty much same thing. Do they want Abramovich to sell the club? No, they don't. I feel that's where us and Arsenal and Tottenham, no disrespect, but it's just Tottenham. So I think, I always say that no disrespect, but I mean disrespect, but I don't. You get what I mean, yeah?
No,
like,
I get you. I get you 100%.
Well. I mean, they've got a big stadium there. You know what I mean? They're investing into the club. So,
I get you.
Yeah.
Like, when the club put on Twitter the so-called open letter from Joe Glazer, if anybody thinks for 1 second that Joe Glazer actually sat down and constructed one word of that, well, then you're an absolute idiot.
Useless.
That was a very carefully constructed piece of PR. And I saw on Twitter, right, I went on it and I saw 13.7 thousand people had liked it. And I commented underneath, what the fuck are 13,000 people liking this for? Stop liking it. So stop liking and sharing absolutely every piece of dross and propaganda put out by the club. Stop liking, stop sharing it. There's a section in their financial report to the shareholders every quarter, and they have a whole section on social media in interaction and engagements. And when they're negotiating for an affiliate to either re-sign a contract, or we're negotiating with a new contract partner, the social media interaction and engagement is one of the key tenets that they can negotiate a bigger deal on. So every one of you watching right now, stop liking every single post, stop sharing it, and do the exact same stuff with every single affiliate that's involved with the club. The protests are fantastic, and I'm all for the protests, and I wish, if the COVID rules weren't as they are in my country, I would be there next Sunday with bells on. But all we can do, and this goes to people in Australia, in Malaysia, India, all over the world, stop liking the crap, stop sharing it, and most importantly, stop buying all merch. I've got on my Twitter account, no to Man United merch as a hashtag. But get it trending, guys, because that is how you hit them in the pocket. And that is your way of reducing their share price over time. And when their share price plummets and plummets and plummets, they will readdress the entire thing and they will sell. That's what I want you to do. Very simple. If you can do it, I will be delighted, because you're doing it not just for me, not for United, you're doing it for yourselves and for the future of this club. Get your club back. This is your chance.
KG, you're coming up on Sunday.
I know.
You're coming up. I know you're pumped about it and you want to do your bit and stuff. And you know what I'm saying, it's going to be a big day. But in terms of like how to kind of keep this energy going, and on top of that, what do you kind of expect?
Loads of ideas, man. I've got loads of ideas. This is what I want to see, and this is the catalyst for it. I believe that the fans need to stage. There needs to be walkouts. So you see, first game of the season, after the 70th minute, all the fans get up and leave. First game at home against Liverpool, big matches, because it's not about right now. Because I tried to galvanize a couple of guys to unfollow Man United on social media. It didn't, bro. As was unfollowing, the account was just rising. Like, it's crazy. And what Jay's talking about, you know, the metrics, online metrics. Even when we tweet Glazers out, they don't break it down if it's positive or negative. It's just metrics for Man United. So it still counts they can use that in negotiation. So yes, Glazers out is trending. They're gonna say, they're not gonna go down and say, hey guys, these are all the particulars. It's not this many people are talking about Man United over and over again. So even Glazers out, as great as it is keeping the is helping the social media push. We need to do things that are, you know, significant, monumental. In a Liverpool game, can you imagine if the fans walk out?
You see the walkout thing though, yeah.
Yeah, that's the
walkout
thing.
thing.
Like,
If you bought your ticket, if you buy your ticket,
they have your money.
The money's there. It's done.
Money.
How does it? No, but I know it's about the message, but how does it actually affect the Glazers?
Because you can say, just imagine the same thing that you're talking about. Don't buy the shirts, guys. They've already sold these shirts to the to like JD and everything wholesale. It's not when you talk about don't buy shirts, you're talking about the mega store, fam. They've made the money.
That goes to Adidas anyway.
These guys have made the money's been made. So as you say with the ticket and stuff, it's the same thing with the shirts. They've already been sold. People know that people are coming to buy these. Now, yes, there will be when they have to renegotiate with a JD and all these other clubs, that's when it gets harder. But you're talking, it's going to take 2 or 3 years for them to feel the penny pinch of what we've just doing now. This thing is a serious machine. So what we need is moments.
Basically damage the brand.
Damage the brand. Significant moments. Yeah. Say, hey, these guys are together. But one thing I will say is this club is actually, I still believe that the Glazers are going to sell this club. The biggest plan, remember this, they were planning for 11 years to make this moment. This JP Morgan, this whole thing was in the plan. Yeah. They wanted to have a club that runs like the American teams, where you can't get relegated. None of these things can happen. That was the major plan, and that's probably why they bought the club. They said, you know what, we'll be fine. We don't have to worry about if we don't qualify. Because have you noticed with Man United, whenever we never qualify for the Champions League or out of the European stages, that's when they'll pump money into the club. They don't want to do that. And they're saying this is a risk. We have to keep on doing this. We don't care about this club. It's not a passion project. We have an NFL team. This team means nothing. We're gonna cut ties with it because it's not gonna give us what we really wanted. And they're just gonna keep it moving. That is why Ed Wood was here, because let's be honest now, guys. Do you believe that Ed Wood said, I'm gonna let go of this amazing club? He just decided, I'm gonna leave in December. Come on. This is ridiculous. If anyone believes that, you have to be stupid. He's saying to himself, I need to find the bestseller. Before what was happening is everyone, FSG, you know, if all clubs want to sell, your club's going to be valued as much less. All you have to say is their stability. They still like the club. It's still a worthy brand. And that's what Ed Wood was doing here. But the Glazers won out. It's not worth it. It's not. And all we need to do is keep having these amazing, significant moments in terms of the show. It's all about the show more so than we can't damage this. It's hard for us to damage by not buying a shirt. That's not what is going to do it. We need big moments to say, hey, these guys are together. And they hate the fact that Saturday happened. Oh, but they're going to hate Sunday. It's going to be even worse. And we just keep it going.
Walkout will never happen, KJ.
Talk to me.
I remember the last walkout at Old Trafford, everybody, whatever it was, the 78th, 80th minute, everyone walked out. It was embarrassing, man. There was about 50 people outside. And the way you have to look at this is Manchester United globally. Try, let's just say, for instance, I took my son, or like my youngest son, to his first game at Old Trafford, and it just happened to be that game, the protesting. Am I really going to turn to my son on the 70th minute and go, right, come on, mate, we've got to go out? The people that have made the trip, yeah, but what about the people that have made the trip from Ireland, from China, from Norway? They're not going to walk out.
But that's why it's powerful, because as you said,
I know it is. I understand that. I'm just saying.
I'm with you. I'm with you totally, because as you said, people are still always going to come. But if, as a fan group, we can all decide we move. Liverpool moved one time. I think these guys, or even if we say, you know what, we just turn our backs. Let's say we're in the stadium. I know City was dealing with the Poznan. We just turn our backs, watch the game. That's powerful. Little moves like that. You need it's the marketing. It's little things to say. This is a group. This is a group. They're together. The United team has never been united. We've never, as a fan base, we've never been on the same side. This is the first time. It almost feels like that thing when when green and gold was really going. David Beckham with the scarf.
Yeah,
we're at the door. I feel like we're close to that. This has brought us together. We need to push it. And I don't know who it is. I don't know what entity says it. I don't think it could be us. It really needs to be for a fan channel. But not a fan channel, one of the I don't know, supporters trust. But we need to back it. Whatever they say, we need to back it and tell people. So Sunday, I know I'm there on Sunday. That's what I can say. I can't talk for the chat. I'm not going to talk for the whole channel. I know that I'm going to be there on Sunday.
100%. And that's what I mean. If I could be there Sunday, I would be there. But it's other circumstances that don't allow me. But this whole, just one thing on the walkout. Like, we've all been to Old Trafford. We've all been to the big games. It'd be great if 10,000 people walked out against Liverpool at home. But especially the big games, KG, and you know this deep down, the amount of people that, it will be the big date in their diary. They're not just going to walk out on the 70th minute. And the Stretford Enders, the kind of supporters groups in that kind of area of the ground may do. But the chances, 75,000 people in Old Trafford, the chances of even 10,000 walking out are slim. They are slim. I would definitely back it. I'd definitely walk out.
I think. Sorry, go on, Alex. Go on, Alex.
I was just going to say, I think it would be too hard to organise because Old Trafford's capacity is obviously the biggest in the whole Premier League, so you have even more fans to contact. I just don't know how they'd get that many thousand fans.
It was embarrassing the last time. Honestly, they tried organising this, and it was more or less done through social media. And there was a video that went out after it, and I'm talking. There must have been, 40, 50 people singing Glazers outside the ground. Everybody else stayed in the ground.
And you have to think...
It's very difficult to organise something like that. It's again, if you're at Old Trafford, you might have waited a whole lifetime to go and see Man United. You might have paid thousands of pounds to get on an aeroplane, fly out. It's your one day. And then are you really, this is your one in a lifetime opportunity to see United. And then you're expected to walk out the 70th minute. But I understand that you should be tapped into the fact that, you're protesting against the Glazers. But again, it's just very difficult to do, man.
Could we not, though? I'm serious about this. And you just call it turn your back on the Glazers at a certain minute where we just turn around for 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes, from 51, because that's what you want, 51%, right? That's what the fans want.
Yeah.
That 51, we turn round, all the fans in the ground. That's not hard to do. Yeah, they will show it because we're not going to probably get a goal until Ollie's not going to make a change before that anyway. So we can show. We know that. we know.
Between the 10 minutes between 51 and 61, you're saying that we won't.
Ollie doesn't make it to 65, so we'll see Donny.
We'll see Donny.
Do you know what? Yeah, when Ricky was speaking yesterday, and he looked up, and it was quite a poignant moment because when you're taking everything in, but then something kind of hits you. When Ricky turned at the stadium and said, "Look at that! I don't want to not go in there. I don't want to turn my back against the team." And I think this is where it comes. This is where it comes through to the owners, right? Being very, very smart in what they're doing because they're playing on the heartstrings of fans. We are emotionally attached to Manchester United Football Club, yeah? Which is why, if we wasn't emotionally attached, all of us wouldn't be here. All of us, everyone would just drop their season ticket. No one would have the membership. And everyone would say, we're not going to any games. Nobody, as in the stadium's going to have 0 people in it until the Glazers are gone. But owners know at every single football club, you have the fans. As soon as you buy that football club, you also buy the fans. And but you're buying their loyalty that they have for their club already before you've even got there, which is very, very difficult. And you know what? It's so true because I hear what you're saying, KG. I do, in terms of try and damage the brand and that. But you see what I can think? I think of Joel Glazer or Avram, whoever's got that flappy ponytail, whichever one it is, yeah. His face just, honestly, I can imagine him just sitting there, just being like, "Hey, Joel, they think it's hurting us? They bought the ticket.
That sounded like Jay.
Like looking at the thing, going like, but like money's there. Like
Yeah, they don't care.
I could imagine them logging into internet banking and saying, "But we've been paid. Like go, like leave early. Then I tell you what I can do, because the grounds people didn't have to do as much thing. I'll pay them less. I can make them clock off early. Like they will find another way where." But I'm not saying it's wrong what you're saying, KG. I do agree, but I see what Kevin's saying about how hard that actually is to implement.
Don't get out the ground, so you're in the match is finished.
Now this is a very nuts one.
You just sitting there and just don't move. 10 minutes, bro. There's stuff you can do. I understand. I watched this. I was watching this thing with this guy that started dancing. Yeah, it's on YouTube. A guy starts dancing. And then someone else follows, and then people follow, and then they're all doing it. All we need is someone to start and people to really back and just sit down and say, you know, I'm here for this. There's so many ideas we can do. A lot of people get caught up in it. It's not going to work. Something has to happen. Something has to give, you know, and we just have to have that idea of we try it. If that doesn't work, we try something else. But then we can be like, if we have this defeatist attitude, we're not getting anywhere. And that's what they want us to feel. And what they want to do, the best thing they could do is, if Ole starts failing, let's talk about a new manager. And that's where they get us distracted. So
it's financially, though, isn't it, KG? Because, right, you look at the protests where fans walk out. In a way, you look at it and think, well, do you know what? You've already paid for your ticket. You've gone in. And if you're saying leave 70 minutes early, they've got your money. So they're not asked. They'll be like, well, we've already got your money. It has to be financially in other areas.
And one of the best ways.
The ultimate sacrifice is you don't go to Manchester United and watch them, which would kill.
And then you watch it. And then you watch it on Sky, and you've paid the Sky, and Sky will give Man United loads of money. And then they do what they literally just was going to do. Yeah. One guy who's on the board at a big club said to me this year when I was talking about owners, and it's so mad how when I saw this happen, I thought, right, he was right. He said, Flex, owners don't care about fans, which we know. Yeah, he said they do what they want. He said, you do know, and he said this to me, and I go, shut up. And then I thought about it. He goes, you do know that if no one came to the stadium, they'll just sell the image rights and like make billions around the world through TV. Like, you do know that, don't you? And I was like, nah, man, you can't say that. Like, the stadiums need to be full. Like, we've seen what football's like without fans. Obviously, that's true. But the package of that, or bring it somewhere else. Like, they can do that. They were willing to do that. That will happen. Alex, she's going to say something quickly as we finish.
I was going to say, I know Jay said about not interacting with sponsors, but I think like one of the best things we can do from like the global fan base is what they have been doing is if you spam every single sponsor's like thing called Glazer out, like you should start Tag Hoyer. Yeah. Tag Hoyer turned their replies off to all their tweets now. So if you literally spam out all of their company, they're not going to want to be involved because they have people. They're trying to advertise to people. Like,
tell us the time when the Glazers are leaving. Tell us what time they get.
Have you actually literally seen like if you just spam out all the sponsors things? I think that will actually have an effect because they're not going to want that negative publicity attached to their brand.
Yeah. Alex, it happened with Vodafone. Vodafone was United's shirt sponsor in the early 2000s. They actually cut their sponsorship deal with Manchester United early. I think it was a year before it finished because of the amount of negative, reaction from Manchester United. I remember in the Arndale in Manchester, loads of United fans stormed in the Vodafone shop. And there was people working there trying to sell like the latest iPhone or whatever.
Hey, wait there. Hold on. Can we take a moment? Can we listen? I know there's a lot of global fan base here, but listen, there's something about when you live around the corner from Manchester and you're on that kind of stuff, running up in Vodafone. Hey, KG running up in Vodafone. Poor little 16-year-old just got their first ever job, just trying to just get their little money. And
let me read this from the
flares in Vodafone.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Let me read this super chat from the one and only Creflo Dollar, which is hilarious. KG talking all this smack, wearing a jersey. No one is walking out. Stop it. The owners don't watch games. Hit them where it hurt. Yeah. Don't buy jerseys. Listen.
Yeah, word.
Yeah,
jerseys are irrelevant though because it goes to Adidas. It doesn't go to United.
They've been sold. I'm telling you, like they've made the money. Unless you go, I don't know who does this. I don't know if you buy your jerseys on the Man United channel, like actually on like.
No, I usually go to Oxford Street and cop like the new one in JD.
I don't buy them anymore.
They've been sold, and so listen, it's flex, man. He's on this Tekken thing, boy.
Katie, by the way, right? If you buy a jersey from them directly, because I got the Cavani jersey and I got my son a Frank jersey there. You order from Manchester. It comes via a warehouse in Holland. It took 6 weeks for the jersey to come.
Yeah, it does take ages.
And the jersey and it was for my son's birthday. It even missed his birthday. I sent United Direct umpteen emails stating, you've messed up, blah, 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 blah. I didn't even get so much as an apology from United Direct. So do not buy a jersey from United Direct.
I'm telling you, man, it is.
Listen,
Jay, you should have just sent a picture of yourself with the guns out, and they would have sent it straight through, mate.
Guys, we've come to the end of the show. It's into a little bit of line of duty time. I do apologise about that. Mine is on pause downstairs, so don't worry about that. I'm not missing it. Listen, it is going to be a big week, though. A disappointing game today. We move on. Thursday, it's all about that. Get behind the boys. We have to get 1 foot into that semi-final, or at least a positive result. There's a lot of work to do, and it'll be a great way to end the season, considering what's gone on in the last week. And just in general for Ollie, I just really hope we can get this trophy for this team.
We need to beat Roma, man.
We need to beat Roma. First legs away from home. Yeah. Sorry, first legs at home. So similar to the AC Milan game, where we did concede in the last minute, which was looking like we didn't play that well, but it looked like we could have sneaked a 1-0 to take away, which would have been perfect. Along the same lines, just keep that clean sheet and anything's possible.
And let's just say if we get to the final, we just know to run to the byline and just put it through Leno's legs.
Yeah, that's it. That's if Emery don't do them over, mate. Because I think
I'm not ruling out Villarreal at all. But...
Yeah, I think Arsenal got a tough draw on their hands there. As do we. So anyway, we move on to Thursday and then on to Sunday as well, which will be even bigger as well. Me and KG will be right back at you on Tuesday evening as well. Loads going on, guys. Peace. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.